no, it's the wrong way. I have to do it this way.
Everybody's in the same office today. What's going on?
Another great day in the neighborhood.
Here we are, literally in the neighborhood, dealing with Car Market Watch today. Our lighting isn't the best, but you know what? We're going to make the best of it.
Welcome to Car Market Watch. Whichever side is there.
Welcome to Car Market Watch.
Thanks to one of our young salesmen, he drew it up for us so we would have a background for you.
Yeah, I need to learn how to do that. Like, yeah, right above Bonnie's head.
Yeah, like the
Car Market
weatherman.
Watch.
So we got interesting topics for you today.
We
Same
do.
stuff that you're all thinking about. How has car buying changed in 2022?
We get this call a lot, right? You know, we get people that want to talk about how the market is. Like, I was at lunch today picking up a sandwich at Malika's and had Bobby with me, and I ran into a guy that, you know, he used to be in the car business, and you know, he's like, "Hey, what's going on? How's the car business, Ronnie?" I'm like, "Well, it's exciting."
It's exciting.
You know, it's exciting. It's super difficult, and it's very interesting, which led us to this whole topic, right? You know, what's changed about what was our topic here? Let's read it out loud. So, what is the best way to buy a car in 2022? It's kind of a vague topic, but we've got some bullet points set aside that we can discuss. And if you out there have questions you want to ask, please drop them in the comments. Tell us who you are. Allow StreamYard to connect to your Facebook, and that way we'll be able to reply to you in a timely manner. So, how do you guys want to kick this off?
Well, I think the first thing to talk about is how has the market changed in 2022? It has changed.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been doing this job for about 4 years now. And so when I started, it was a completely different world. It was the old world of car buying. And then the pandemic happened. And then it's almost like I had to relearn the job. It was interesting because the market was so dramatically different. Would one of you like to discuss how dramatically different it is?
Well, I mean, the car pricing is just going up. It's going through the roof. I mean, with us in this recession time frame, or, you know, the cost of goods going up, the price of cars, new and used, are increasing.
I think what's funny about it to me, what's different is lack of planning really leaves you out there right now. If you have to react to this market by being in a vehicle crash, somebody steals your car, something happens.
And stuff does happen.
We see it every day. You're leaving yourself out there if you don't have a plan.
Yes.
What I mean by that is you write it down. Like, what happens tomorrow if your car gets totaled today?
Yeah, because I think one thing people don't necessarily realize is that if your car gets totaled, they only pay you what the car was worth the day it got totaled. So if you had a perfectly good paid off 2010, it's just not going to give you enough money to get another car. So you need to be able to, I mean, that's true no matter what the market's like. You've got to think about that.
Yeah, and you can't, you know, it used to be just like going to the grocery store. You could just run out. I'm going to let my seat down a little bit. You could just run out and get a car on a Saturday in a few hours.
Yeah, you could.
You know, you
Tell
could go out.
about that.
Yeah, I need a car. We're going Saturday at 9:00, and
right. We expect to have one by the end of the day. It shouldn't be a problem. Well, you know, then we'll get dinner.
That's gone unless you just take whatever's on the lot. I mean, I haven't seen that in a while.
No, I'm not. Well, I remember somebody saying to me during the pandemic, he's like, "Oh, the prices will go down because nobody's going to buy a car, and there's going to be so many cars." And I would just like to say that I was right when I said that, no, that's not what's going to happen. There's going to be shortages because there's not going to be enough chips.
So you call that?
I called it.
Yeah.
I called it.
Yeah.
That, yes.
And vehicle maintenance, the cost of vehicle maintenance is going up as well. So even if you weren't prepared and you're not able to purchase a car in these current times, now if something goes wrong with your current vehicle, it's going to cost you almost double what it used to cost.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Well, let's get into the topics. I mean, this is the first one, right? How has it changed in 2022?
Yeah.
Specifically, how has it changed?
That it used to be, like we talked about, that you could go out and you could go to the lot, you could pick out your car. I want that red Telluride, and they would sell it to you. Now you go onto the lot and you say, I'd like that red Telluride, and they say, oh, it's already sold. Sorry. And then you look around, you're like, how about that blue one? Sold. Sorry. Yeah. And so on. You have to order it in advance. So it's not all cars that are like that, but there are a good number of popular vehicles that you can no longer just walk onto the lot and buy.
You know, you're not wrong. I mean, the Subarus, a couple of months ago, I'm not making this up for dramatic effect. They sold out of Imprezas, like all of them. So like
no Imprezas
for the year. So basically for the whole year, they were done with 22s 2 months ago. You could not order them. They closed ordering. They were like, we're done. No more orders. Today I talked to Subaru. Now we can order 23s and you can get one in October.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty good. I mean, to us, it's pretty good.
Right. Yeah.
We're like, oh, wow, you can get a car in 3 months.
Right.
You know, it's like great. But if you're out there and you haven't purchased a car in 5 years, you don't know this is going on.
Right.
You just think that if something happens, you can go get it fixed, get a remedy. I want another Impreza. I'll get one this weekend. No. And that, by the way, you'll get one in October if you order one today. If you order one in September, you'll get one in November. If you order one in October, you'll get one and so on and so forth. Right. It's not really correcting itself.
Yeah, no, that is true. But I do want to make sure that people know that it isn't that like if you do need a car suddenly, there are cars that you can get. You just might not have as much choice as you used to have. So it's not like you're in an accident on Tuesday and then for like a month and a half you don't have a car. There are cars we can get on short notice. It's just not all the cars like it used to be.
Bonnie wrecked a car and got a car in a week.
Yeah.
Not just because she's in the business, but we're going to get into that later. That's going to be, you know, what you should be doing, you know. But so that was a very strategic move.
It was a strategic move.
Do you have something to add to the how's it changed?
Yeah, I mean, to add to the significance of how long it's taken or having to wait for a vehicle in my lifetime, 42 years old, there's never been a time where my parents have had to wait a year to get the car that they needed. It was always available. You know, if it wasn't available on this lot, we drive across the street and they had it.
Yeah.
You know,
maybe you'd have to wait a couple days for a particular color.
Right.
While they traded with another dealership in town.
We did a lot of that. They stopped dealer trading like a year and a half ago.
I know. I was very sad about that. I like dealer trading.
Yeah.
Because you could get specific things. But no more.
Yeah. So like, those are some of the specific things. Another thing that's changed is interest rates have gone up. It's not as dramatic as the housing industry.
Right.
They have gone up. I've noticed them go up 0.75 twice in the past month and a half. So what is that, a 1.5?
Yeah.
So a 1.5 in the last month, which, you know, in the housing industry, it's pretty dramatic. As far as a loan amount and a payment amount on a house is $400,000. On vehicles, it doesn't change the payment that much. So it's still tolerable. I don't think people are going to notice it. It's not going to stop them from buying cars. People still need to drive to work. They need to do stuff. Interest rates aren't really damaging that, but they have gone up.
Yeah. So it's a little bit surprising. Like if you waited and, you know, you thought you were going to be paying a certain amount for a vehicle, but then you waited, you know, several months and the interest rates went up. But it is still true that it's not like, you know, like with a house, interest rates go up 2 points and it's like $1,000 a month difference.
Right.
It's not like that with cars. It doesn't. At first, the rates haven't gone up as much, but also it just isn't. It's just not that much money. So it's making that big, huge difference in how much money you're paying per month.
Absolutely. And I think the combination of both is what has raised the pricing per month. You know, when you think about it, an entry-level vehicle, base model, whatever the case may be, back in the day, that was about $15,000 car. I mean, now on average, they might start at 25, manufacture on the website, but by the time you get a few of the things that you actually want, you're right at that $30,000 range. You know, so that to add in the interest rates now, that average car price that was $250, $350 a month, now we're in the $450 to $600 a month.
Yeah, even for leases.
Yes.
That's true. That, you know what the average price is for a car in America these days?
What is it?
It's like $42,000.
Oh, wow.
I wanted to share my screen and bring it up, but I don't think I can. I mean.
Oh yeah, but it's interesting how.
Let me see if I can do this.
Whoa.
I wonder if they can see this. I have no idea if they can see this, but anyhow, we'll try it. So your payment on 40 grand over 60 months is $809 at 4%. If it goes up a 1.5, 5.5, the payment's $839. So it's about $30 a month. I'll stop sharing because I think it just looks like a disaster.
Right, yeah.
This is a downside of us being in the same room.
Yeah, nobody can see.
I can't see it, but that's okay. But anyhow, so it's about $30 a month on a 40 grand car, and that doesn't mean it's $30 a month on every car. If it's $30,000, it's different. You know, it's less money, but maybe it's 25. But that's how it's changed. The interest rates have gone up. What else can you point out? Anything else you can think of before we leave this topic alone?
Let's see, shortages, interest rates, the price of used cars has
Used car
climbed
values.
considerably. At
Mhm.
the moment, one of the things that's happening is that it's hard to get a hybrid or a plug-in hybrid or an EV.
Mhm.
Hybrids have become
Popular.
they
Who
be,
knew that would ever happen?
yeah, we
They
got
made
one
fun
else.
of me for years.
Yeah, everybody's making fun of that car.
Mhm.
We still did for current.
Yeah.
Yeah. I put gas in a Honda Clarity yesterday, $30.
Yeah. For what, a 6-gallon tank?
It's
Was it?
6.8 gallons.
So almost a 7-gallon tank, maybe 8 max.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
somewhat depressing.
You were depressed for a different reason.
I'm depressed because my hybrid is totaled, and now it's costing me $50 to put gas in my tank. I'm very sad about that.
You folks out there, go back to what this says. You know how it's changed, right? Bonnie had a hybrid. It got totaled. Hybrid prices, we looked at them through the roof.
Mhm.
And it takes a long time to get them, which is the other problem.
So what she did is decided to get a gasoline operated vehicle and lease it.
Yeah.
That way, 3 years will go by pretty quickly. You can guarantee you how much you're going to spend because you know what your payment is.
Yeah, and it's good. It's a fixed across the board for 39 months.
It's fixed.
Mhm.
Nothing's going to change.
No,
So like
and-
you're going to spend. I think in your deal it's like $14,000.
That and it's under warranty the whole time, so I don't have to worry about repairs or anything like that. And in 2025, I can get what I want.
It may not be the best. Shouldn't say best. It may not be your most desired option.
No, I mean, it's a great car. It's the nicest car I've ever had, but I like the hybrid. I like the cars but because it's a lease, I mean, that's one of the benefits of leasing is that you don't have to. It doesn't have to be exactly right because you're not keeping it for all eternity. You're only keeping
3
it
years.
for 3 years or less.
I like that move. All right.
Yeah.
Which leads us into, should you lease or buy right now in 2022?
Oh, perfect segue.
Perfect segue.
Well done.
I mean, we've been preaching leasing for years. Has that changed? Has my mind changed? Anybody
Has your
want
mind
to?
I don't think so.
changed?
I mean, I'll tell you what, in 18, leasing was crazy good.
Mhm.
$350 payments, no money down. You can still do leasing with no money down. I mean, you don't
Yeah,
have to
that's
have
true.
money down.
That's what I did.
The issue is the payments have increased to $500,
Mhm.
which when we think about it, like, should we ever have only been paying $350 for these $33,000 cars? You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like literally, we were driving around in $37,000 cars for $350 a month.
Yeah.
And complaining about that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Nobody's
well,
gonna take it back.
My
We're not-
first car was $6,000, so
That was the total of your lease
that
payments?
was,
$6 grand?
it wasn't even leased. We bought it. It was a stripped down Toyota Tercel, and it was brand new, and it didn't even have a radio, but it was $6,000.
All right. So like mathematically, it's not as cool as it was in 2018 because I used to be able to do a mathematical equation that showed you could have 9 years worth of cars for the same amount of money as buying one car.
Right.
And I really loved that. And we had a good couple of years of only that happening. It was really fun. Now it's down to 2 cars to 1. So it's about 6 years of cars.
So you do the math again?
Yes.
Okay.
So like if you're spending $500 a month, it's what, 18,000? 500 times 36, $18,000 times 2,
Right.
it's 36 grand.
Mhm.
If you buy one car, we're talking about like a $31,000 car
Okay.
that leases for $500 a month
Mhm.
times 36 is 18 grand
18,000. Right.
times 2,
Mhm.
36,000.
36,000.
So you could technically, if you can afford 500 a month, you can drive a nice little SUV twice. So you can lease it for 3 years, get a new one, 3 years, 6 years, no repairs. You're only doing maintenance. You're not doing repairs.
Right.
Now, if you purchase that same car and finance it now, by the time you make all of the payments over 5 years, you're going to spend around 37 grand.
Right.
That's just the way it is. The
You're right,
payment's
there's
going to be in the
still 2 cars.
600s with no money down, and it's going to be $37-ish thousand.
Yeah.
It may be a little bit more because the interest rates went up.
Right. That's true. But it's still true that most people only keep cars for 36 months. So if you had that car for 6 years and it's been out of warranty for 3 years, it's still a good deal to lease. It still ends up kind of being a wash.
I still love it. I like it. We
Yeah.
still lease my wife's car. Here's the deal. This is the biggest reason why I still am for leasing.
Mhm.
The volatility of the market.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. It's not just the market, it's also the types of cars that there will be.
The types of cars that'll be here in 25.
And that's what I was about to get into. It's like, okay, when you start thinking about these EVs and the new vehicles that are coming out, you buy those vehicles, you're buying the manufacturer being in the learning phase of those vehicles. They're brand new.
Mhm.
There are going to be recalls. There are going to be issues with those vehicles. There are going to be things that are going to happen. And that's great in the first 3 to 4 years. when
Yeah,
it's
under warranty. Yeah.
But after that, that new electrical technology is going to be probably more expensive to repair than our combustion engines right now.
You know, people argue that they argue with me about that. They say, well, they could just send an update to the car and fix it. I'm like, well, BMW's going to subscriptions now
Right? That's
for
true.
things like power seats.
Yes.
Go look up the article. Go Google BMW subscription model that they're trying to introduce to the marketplace. Oh, you want your heated seats to work? $15 a month.
Well, I thought about that. And it's not that different. Like my remote start is subscription.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's on
Through
the
the app
key
on the
fob.
phone?
You could do it through the phone, but it's on the key fob, the remote start. But if you don't have a subscription, it doesn't work.
Are you serious?
I am.
So it's already started.
It's begun.
I don't have,
Yeah,
so
it's
my
already
car's a
started.
little bit older. It's got a remote start,
Mhm.
but it's not on subscription.
Right. Yeah, you don't have to have it that way. But
That is
mine does.
crazy.
I see how they're just slipping it in. But I mean, on one hand, it's annoying. Like everyone's very annoyed. But on the other hand, that may be a tactic to keep the prices a little bit down because they're bringing in a little extra money.
They want to make the
elsewhere.
revenue.
Yeah, well, they have to make the revenue, or they can't make any more cars. I mean, they're putting an enormous amount of money into this technology that we're still not really sure if people are going to buy this EV technology. If it's not a Tesla, are they gonna be able to sell it? I'm not really sure. We'll see. But we talked about that in other videos. So they got to get money from somewhere.
I still like leasing, to finish the statement,
Mhm.
because it's so crazy right now. It's changing like cell phone technology. Every year the cell phone gets better. The second I get the cell phone, oh, we got a new one coming out. I'm like, oh man, I don't have the
Yeah.
30 times zoom. I need that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I only keep them like a year,
Yeah.
and so basically I feel like the cars are reaching that range.
Yeah.
And until this stabilizes, everybody has their electrics and hybrids and stuff out in 2025. I'm not against buying cars. I'm not against owning. I own one. I lease one. So I think not leasing. I'm not all leasing or nothing. But I think if you're not considering it right now in this volatile market, you're making a mistake.
Yeah. Well, there's also the consideration that up until recently, the inflation of cars was pretty consistent. It was slow, and we could predict. what
Yes,
the car
it's
was
very
gonna be
predictable.
worth. Yeah, it's not so predictable now. So you don't know if you buy a car today, you don't really know if you're going to get your money's worth out of it.
But that's not what they're thinking, though.
Right.
Everybody we
not
talk to is like,
hard.
oh, my car's worth more money than it was last year. I'm like, how do you know that? That's what it's saying in the news. That's what everywhere.
Right.
It's just noise.
Well, it is, but I mean, in 3 years, the noise may be in the opposite direction.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Like,
and-
we don't know. We have no
We
idea.
don't know. We have no idea. But we don't really have any precedent to go back and say, well, yes, in 1862, this is what happened. Because there were no cars. So
There's
we
a
just have
couple
to
of
see.
exceptions. You could sit with me as a consumer.
Mhm.
And if you ask me, like, I'm not going to tell you this to sell your car. I'm not going to say, hey, you should do this, because with the market the way it is, your car will be worth more money in 3 years.
right.
Outside of a Tacoma, if you're buying a Tacoma, I'm like, okay, you're probably not going to lose a lot of money. Or if you're buying a Jeep Wrangler, I'm like, okay, you're probably going to be fine. Or a diesel truck, a crew cab diesel truck, and it's the right diesel, not a diesel that pulls 25,000 pounds, a 2,500 or a 3,500, not the eco diesel, not the 3.6 diesel, but the big one. So those three exceptions, you can buy those cars. You're probably going to be safe. They're going to predictably tell you what they're probably going to be worth over 3 years. But anything else is a crapshoot. It's rolling the dice.
Yeah.
And really, we can't even compare and contrast properly, because most people don't keep up with the cost of their repairs. They'll say, hey, my car's been paid off for the past 5 years, and then they conveniently leave out, oh, by the way, I changed the engine and the transmission
$5
and
grand
those
a year.
together. Yeah, so by the time you pay 5 to 10 grand a year on those repairs that they're not tracking, what does that equate to per month?
What's 5,000 divided by 12?
60. I mean 600.
5,000 divided by 12. 600? $416.67.
Oh, I don't know.
So that's what your car payment is
that's
if you
your
spend
new
$5
car
grand on
payment.
it. And there's people out there who's like, okay, this year, like I put tires and stuff on the car, so like, yeah, over the year, I'm probably going to spend $5,000. And so that equates to $400 a month.
Yep. So whether you're paying that cost in a lump sum, you still paid a car payment.
Yeah.
And it must be calculated if you're truly trying to compare whether or not you've gotten the value out of purchasing that car over the course of a long period of time versus having the new everything technologies, warranties, and just having peace of mind.
That sounds so good.
Which is valuable to a lot of people.
Now, that being said, everybody's situation is unique. We enjoy the debate, but it's up to you. So, and I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. If you want to buy a car and keep it 10 years, we have plenty of clients that do that. The majority of them this month have been doing that. There's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you want to do, we just ask you to plan for your own good. Like, this isn't going to last forever. Get ready for the next move in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. The planning is really important. That's part of the reason we always say the car is not an asset. It's not an asset. It's not like a house. It's not, it's not guaranteed. Like you're going to put a lot of money into it. It is not going to last forever. It's not an asset.
Yeah.
Don't look at it that way.
At times it can be a smart purchase. If it lasts you, if it, performed for your family well over a period of time, great. It wasn't a bad purchase, but it's definitely not an asset.
But it's consumable. Yeah.
That's my cousin Chris Anderson on here from Virginia. What's up, Chris?
Hello, Chris.
So,
Chris.
Yeah, that's Adrian's brother. So
he says we're smart. Look at that. I like you already.
Thanks, Chris. Chris was like one of my best friends growing up. He lived down the street from me.
Oh, nice.
And I used to pick us up in his VW Beetle.
Yeah.
And drive us to school.
Somebody was
I can't even tell you the rest of the stuff we did in that car. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, he can't come on live and talk about what we used to do in 1984.
Right.
So,
well, that would be very interesting. It would be a different topic.
Look what Lauren said about leasing.
Yeah, where it doesn't seem realistic because they drive too much. That's true.
Yep.
Lauren says she owns 2. Both are paid off. My newer car is 10 years old. So here's the cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Like, we're never against having paid off cars.
No, and there are situations where a person drives a lot and it's not as beneficial to lease.
Here's the issue. Here's the issue we see. Car's 10 years old, haven't had a payment. I don't know how long she hasn't had a payment.
Right.
And I don't know what that last payment was. Let's say that last payment was $400 a month.
Okay.
And then she's gone 2 years. Then you go another 4 years with no payment. And you haven't done any planning. You haven't thought about it. You haven't thought about, well, if this dies, what will we have to pay today?
Right.
In today's dollars. And so most people, when this happens, it's overnight. Like, they get hit, like Bonnie, and then it's all of a sudden we have to make a decision. And oh my goodness, these numbers don't look like anything I wanted to. So I would say reach out to Lauren, get on the phone with her, at least share the information. Like, if you want another car like you have, 5 years old, whatever, here's how much it's going to be.
Yeah.
That way you can write that down at home and start working on it.
She knows. Lauren knows the number. 634 years plus.
She already knows.
Lauren's on top of it always.
634 years plus. Yeah. Hey, Chris, man, thanks for joining us, buddy. If you got any questions, Chris, drop it in the comments. We'd love to answer the question.
Especially if you call us smart again. I like that.
I like being called smart too. I've never been called smart. All right, so here's the next little topic. Should you pay inflated new car pricing? And we're not talking about inflation. We're talking about, let's pick a specific car. I got a phone call yesterday. A gentleman wants a Kia Telluride. A Kia Telluride is a very good looking SUV, and it's also very unique. It has 3 rows of seats, and it pulls 5,000 pounds. So you can pull most pop-up campers, some travel light campers. Like, you can do a lot with it, especially in Colorado. It's a nice car. It's all-wheel drive, and they're 50 grand and below, typically. What the dealers are doing is adding another $17,000 to the price just because there's none on the market. And we're not making this a thing against dealers. I'm not, it's capitalism. If you're only getting 4 cars in, I understand you got to do what you got to do. So to me, the question is, should you pay that inflated price? Would you pay 17 grand more just so you could have a Telluride?
Me? No, I would not.
But tell me why.
So I'm much more flexible than that. To me, the idea of paying so much extra for a car, I could get a different car. I could lease a different car until that car comes back down to its regular price. And there's just so many options that I just don't think I would do it. It would have to be like exactly the car I had dreamed of since I was a little girl for me to be willing to pay the extra.
Have you been dreaming of a car since you were a little girl?
No.
It's not going to happen. She's not going to pay $17,000 more.
I can't think of a single dream I had when I was a little girl about cars. So
Those cars are really good looking. I mean, if I
Right.
had the screen share right now, I'd show you. It's a good looking car. It checks a lot of boxes.
Mhm.
A lot of moms with 3 kids. If you got 3 kids,
Yeah.
it's one of the best cars
So
you can
what
have.
about you? Would you pay $17,000 extra for
No.
the right car?
No.
Why not?
Same thing. It's like I'd rather wait.
Mhm.
I'm flexible. I'll get a different car. I'll probably lease something for 3 years and figure it out later. But I don't think that I would be interested in just spending more just so I can have the car.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
So the way I'm looking at it now, I'm looking at it as if we're looking at price of car today, even though today is right after the price hike.
Mhm.
But these manufacturers, the chances of them lowering those prices again are very slim. Ideally, they're going to get people comfortable with the payment. People are going to pay it. Some people that actually want to Telluride are going to pay it, and then everybody else is going to just have to adjust.
I don't
You
think they
know?
can just make them jump $17,000 in 1 year, though.
The manufacturer.
Now the dealers are dealing with a supply and demand issue, so they're getting away with it. But the manufacturers aren't the ones.
don't forget, you have to talk to the microphone.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was talking to Bobby. That it's the dealers are because of the supply and demand issue. They're the ones adding the premium,
Yeah.
not the manufacturers. But it sounds like what you're saying is that the manufacturers are going to be like, okay, this car was $50,000 MSRP in 22, and now in 23 it's going to be $67,000.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. The MSRPs are going up.
He's not wrong
No, he's not wrong.
because
They're
the
not.
Ford Lightning,
Yeah.
Yes.
they had a entry level Ford Light. It's an electric truck. The F-150 electric vehicle hit the ground a few months ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's the first orders came out. The entry level was less than 40 grand. The top end was 74 grand.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of weeks after that, I was watching them go through the auction at $115,000
Wow.
with 200 miles on them. So someone bought it, drove it around, a dealer, and took it to the auction and sold it for $115,000.
So, but then did
Right.
the manufacturer raise
Wait,
the price?
so
Okay, that's the
then-
story.
Today,
Today.
we looked at an article that says Ford is upping the F-150 Lightning price 17%.
Yeah.
There's
So-
no longer a $40,000 option. It's gone up 17%.
Well, how much is 17%?
You'd have to do the math. All right,
You have the calculator.
I got the calculator. $40,000 times 17%, $6,800.
Okay, so
And-
60, that's a lot different.
Well,
than
you're looking at
17,000.
46 instead of 40 is 46.8.
And when you look at
Yeah.
the other manufacturer websites, the prices of the cars are going up. Tesla have increased their price on the manufacturer's website.
Probably like
Okay,
2
but
or 3
what-
times.
Something like a Hyundai Tucson hybrid.
They're still going up. Is this 15,000 yesterday? It could easily be 17,000 today.
So you're saying they're sitting there, even though all the manufacturers complain about this. Well, we don't like the dealers charging this money. They say they don't like it.
Mhm.
Because
But
they're
then
not
they-
making extra money. That's,
Is that why they don't like it?
Of course, that's why they don't
And,
like
and
it.
see, and now they're,
I mean,
but what they're doing is they're bridging the gap. Why leave all the upside on the table for the dealership when they've identified that people are willing to pay this money right now?
but what about the supply and demand issue?
It's still there.
It's still, well, it is still
It's
there.
going to
You're right,
always
you're
be
right.
there. Supply and demand doesn't disappear.
No, but
Just like
eventually they're
gravity
gonna
doesn't
make,
disappear.
eventually they're
Man,
going
it's
to make more.
frustrating.
Eventually they're going to make more of these cars. So
Yeah.
at that point, the different dealers will have to start cutting the prices because they're all competing with each other.
It's going to cool off.
At some point, it will cool off, but
Yeah.
it will never go back to what it was. Just like you think about when we compare it to housing.
Mhm.
Yeah, the rates of the house might go up and down, but when they raise rent, they don't say, "Hey, things got better. Let me put your rent back down to 1,000."
No,
Even
no,
though
they
we
don't.
raised it to 1,200. No, it's 1,200 for the rest of the time you're there.
I have had a rental property that I rent out since 2006 or 7 or 8, something like that. The rent's never gone down. It
Exactly.
started low,
Mhm.
and we're not price gouging, but like you're right.
But rent hasn't gone down either.
It hasn't
It
gone
doesn't go down. When
backward.
you raise it, you're stuck.
But
I'm not going to say never. I mean, in the car industry, I'm not going to say never.
if there's enough competition, they're going to have to do what they used to do, which is to cut the prices. They would be like, well, it's MSRP, but we'll give it to you for MSRP minus 2,000. But I've been reading about this. They don't want to do that.
Right.
They don't want to have to go back to that. So what you're
Exactly.
saying and I think maybe you're right about this, is that they're not really smart, or they don't have enough finesse to be able to manage the prices in such a way that they will not be going right back to that in a few
Yeah,
years.
and it's just it's one of those things. If that's the demand is in a place right now where they can get that value,
Mhm.
why would they stop believing in themselves and say tomorrow we don't think we can get this price anymore?
Okay.
Now they may offer promotions, different things like that
Right.
when they need to sell,
Mhm.
but bringing the price down permanently, I don't see it happening.
Look
I
what
think
Chris posted.
There
He
might be.
says,
Oh, I don't know anybody who can afford to pay that much.
I mean, like seriously,
Yeah,
like the
it's possible.
$17,000 is what he's talking about, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Here's the problem. Lots of people are paying it.
Mhm.
People are paying it.
They do.
They're flying off the shelf.
Can they
They're
afford it? We don't know. But
they're on
paying
back
it.
order.
Yeah.
Like they're waiting for them to come in.
Yeah.
Which makes it so it's a whole segment of our entire country that is getting penalized by this.
Yes.
It's the people that don't want to do it.
People who either don't want to extend themselves too far for a car, or people who just, I mean, I've always wondered that, like, who buys those gigantic houses? I don't know anybody who like lives in, but there's so many of them, like these beautiful gigantic houses that they're always building,
Yeah.
and that I don't know who lives in them.
But I think that's a whole nother conversation. But it gets to the point where there's so many new streams of income that we didn't have 5 years ago.
Well, maybe that's it.
Everyone in the future, in my financial life talking, but everyone will have multiple streams of income at some point, whether they're doing a YouTube channel or whatever. But there's money out there, and people are paying the money.
Chris has a candle business. Post your candle stuff on the and so we can bring it up. The website. They sell candles.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wicked Flames, I believe.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
So I guess my argument is not so much about how fair the price hikes are. It's more about, do I pay it today, or do I wait 5 years waiting for the price to come back down, and it never does, and now I have to adjust.
I mean, I didn't even think about that till you said it. They're liking this, man. Like,
Yeah,
we never should have priced the Telluride at 40. It should have been 55.
Maybe that was our
Right.
The problem was, like, it before all of this stuff happened, the Telluride was, and the Palisade, they're the same vehicle. It was basically a nice little price point.
Mhm.
It competes with the Highlander, the Subaru Ascent. They're third row seat vehicles that pull 5,000 and below. They don't go over 5,000 pounds. The Honda Pilot, like there's a handful of them. If you wanted to pull more than 5,000, you had to spend Lincoln Navigator,
Yeah.
Expedition, Tahoe, Suburban,
Yep.
Escalade. So you're looking at minimum 50 grand. I mean, and if we're talking new,
Minimum.
you're not getting anything for 50 grand
None
in
of
that
those.
particular class, because
Right.
they tow 8,000 plus pounds
Yeah.
and still 3 kids,
Mhm.
dogs, whatever. So when they hit it out of the park with the Telluride.
Yeah, they really did. That's
And
true.
and
It's very
that's
popular.
one of those evaluation adjustments that they had to make. Hey, this car is popular. This car is doing well.
Mhm.
We should take advantage of that. And unfortunately, the American people or whoever's driving these cars have to adjust
You
at
think-
some point.
Will it be the same with the plug-in hybrids, where they're charging $15,000 over sticker?
Yeah, I mean,
Uh,
because they're in a league of their own. I mean, when you start talking 100 miles to the gallon, and much as we want to talk electrical, which I'm a fan of electrical, there's so many people that are going to be opposed to it that they're not going to adopt this in the 10 years that they're expecting us to adopt.
I still think hybrid was the answer.
Yeah, I really do.
but-
And the plug-in hybrid, I
Plug-in
think those
hybrids,
two
yeah.
were
Although I read
Awesome.
something interesting about plug-in hybrids is that in theory that it's better, but in practice people don't plug them in, so
Mm.
they're no better than a hybrid.
They're just
Yeah.
running on gas.
Yeah.
they're running on gas,
Yeah.
which is not smart.
My cousin Christopher Anderson, so you talked about second streams of income.
Yep.
Chris was a drill sergeant.
Oh,
Yeah, 20-year vet right here. I did 8. But yeah, Twisted Flames Candles, him and his wife had that company. Check their website out, guys, if you like candles around your house, since they produce them themselves. They're not buying them from anybody. And maybe we'll have Chris on someday and he can talk about that stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great. And he did not sponsor this video, just so you know.
He didn't sponsor the video,
Yeah.
but I'm sure we should buy some candles for the office.
Exactly. And and at some point, his labor and his time and the fact that it's handmade, at some point, if those candles are selling for $10 today, at some point they're going to start selling for 15. It's only a matter of time.
Yeah,
You
well,
know?
and that is true, but that's
And
inflation.
it's just like-
I have to raise the price.
Exactly. And that's what's happening in the car market. It's just all about the people. There's some people that see the world in a way where they're like, okay, it happened today. I don't care. I'm going to buy it. There's going to be other people that's going to wait for 5, 10, and then they're gonna be like, okay, this ain't gonna change. Let me get on board.
Let's see if anybody had any questions. Lauren, did you have any questions today? Her question is, when can she set up an appointment to figure out what her next plan is with Bonnie and Bobby
Anytime.
together?
I know. Me and Bonnie going back and forth. But don't you know about this, Bonnie?
Let's see. Most prices are inflated, or are there? Here we go. Most prices are inflated, or are there certain cars that have not inflated as much?
Yes.
What do you got, Bonnie?
Yeah, I have not seen that kind of inflation on the Volkswagens.
Yep.
That they're still
Volkswagen's supply chain didn't get hit as hard.
No, it
Right.
didn't. And they're still they're selling. They're not selling for as little as they. I mean, they used to be. They would take a lot off of the.
They're not doing rebates and
They're not
stuff like
doing
that.
rebates and stuff
Right.
like that, but they're still pretty close to MSRP. There's not. I mean, unless maybe an Atlas. I mean, I haven't tried to sell an Atlas in a while.
They're third row seat. No,
yeah,
they're
but
up there.
they seem to be selling it pretty close to what they used to sell.
It's a good question though. So like,
Yeah.
think about what she's saying.
Mhm.
If you are thinking about, if you have to do something, I should get a Telluride and pay 17 grand more, or find something else to drive.
Right.
You know. So yeah, I mean, leasing a Tiguan would be good, or
Or an Atlas.
Or an Atlas or
Yeah,
something.
that's-
And I mean, even though prices may have gone up a little bit on the American made, I mean, the Lightning is an exception.
it's
it's
electric
an
truck.
EV.
Yeah,
First
and
run.
that's a.
There's new first run, all that other stuff. But I think most of the, and correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the American made vehicles aren't having as much of an inflationary problem with the shipment of chips and all of that other
Is
stuff.
that what you're seeing? I'm seeing.
No, I'm
Ford.
seeing the
I'm
Ford.
seeing the same
Ford is
thing all
still hitting
around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Ford, Chevy. I
Mhm.
can't get Chevy trucks at all.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trucks. Yeah,
The trucks are shot out.
but yeah. So I mean, but they're not jumping as much as those
Rams,
foreign
we can
mades.
still order Rams. So you can. It's all about ordering, Lauren. So if you can order a new car, you need a truck. Ram is the way to go right now, in my opinion. You can get one in 3 months. You don't have to pay 16 grand over
Oh.
sticker.
You know, that's exactly right. I had forgotten about that. That there is a benefit. One of the benefits of ordering is that there's not quite the supply crunch, so
They can
don't-
wait for it.
They can wait for it, and then they don't charge quite the premium for it.
Yeah, and I mean, and we got to understand that those businesses are paying more as well.
Yeah, they
You know,
are.
in this
That's
timeline,
true.
every business is raising their prices.
Right.
You know, so the manufacturers have to cover for that somewhere somehow.
Yeah.
Oh look, hey Lauren, thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Both of you.
That's
I know
what I'm
how
saying.
much
Both of
hard
them.
work it is. Yeah.
You're married to a guy that's done 23 years.
Yeah.
Thank you for your service.
And those are
Appreciate that.
retirement papers from the military for those that don't understand.
Lauren's husband just dropped papers, meaning us, Chris.
I
Chris
thought you
knows
were
what that
doing
means.
Chris knows what it
play-by-play of
means.
What was going on right now?
I know I'm ADD. Like, so basically, I just saw that. Like, so her husband has done a tour, a career in the
Yes.
military,
Yes.
and he has just turned in his paperwork to retire from the military. That's what dropping papers means.
Indeed.
23 years.
I remember the day I dropped mine 1 year prior to my 20. I was getting out on the head.
Wow.
It was fun.
But so yeah, she was talking about the daughter in the market for a car soon. The sooner the better to come in and just talk about planning. That
Yeah.
this is the time to start talking about, you know, how much money you're going to need and what kind of car are, you know, what's important to you, so that we have time. You have time to save up money if you need to. That we have time to look for the right vehicle. I think a lot of times we see a lot of people come in when you know, child turns 16th birthday happens, like, we need a car now.
How long you know they're going to turn 16?
Yeah, that's what I always say. It's like-
And it's kind of funny we brought that up, but that's something that's new in 2022 as well. I mean, back when we were turning of age, our parents were perfectly okay with buying us anything that could just, the wheels roll, you know, so you could
But you
pay
could find that
$5,000.
car. You could
Yeah,
find
you
that
find
car
it.
back
You can
then.
still find it, you know, back then, but nowadays it's
I
like,
can't find it.
yeah. Now, if you want a car for your kids, it's like, okay, you're not just purchasing some piece of crap that your kids are just going to drive and tear up. Now you got to really get a decent vehicle, you know, for them kids, even if they're brand new to driving. Base level, but it's up there.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, Chris, if you want to talk about it, our advice is always free. I don't know if people know that. Like, you can call in and we will discuss your car situation with you
yeah.
with no obligation to buy it. Like, if you choose us, we'd be honored to work with you. We want to earn your business, but it's not mandatory. Like, we'll talk to you and give you our opinion and diagnose it with you and help you figure it out. And then if you need to do it on your own, that's cool. We understand.
Yeah, and there's no pressure.
Yeah.
Goal is to make sure people get what really works for them. So
Exactly. So first time ever coming from a dealership, it might be the best option for you to purchase your own vehicle if you're in that situation where you gotta find something under $5,000.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I can't.
$10,000.
Auto search does not look at $5,000 cars. We don't do that.
No.
I mean, it's too much risk for us. Like the cars always have issues and problems, and I don't like that responsibility.
yeah, what was a $5,000 car in 2020? Now that's a $10,000 car. So
That
there's
150,000, like
That's a junker.
more.
150,000 mile cars now are a lot of money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. And what people don't necessarily understand about older cars like that is that by the time a car is 15 or 20 years old, like most of its cohorts have been in accidents. Like they're gone. That's
Yeah.
So there's a supply and demand issue there too. That there's always buyers for $5,000 cars, but there just aren't that many of them because most of them are gone. Most of them have gone through the crusher.
Yep.
And they are no more.
And you know the saying, ride them till the wheels fall off. Well, that's what that previous owner did.
Mhm.
They rode it for as long as they could before they put any money into maintenance. So if you're getting that car today, you're going to easily drop $3,000 just to get it into drivable condition if you got a son or daughter in that car.
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison.
Pick your poison. Let's see if we got any other comments or so. Hey, Chris and Lauren, I really appreciate you guys joining us today. We've committed to this. We're going to do this every week for the next 52 weeks and beyond. And we're going to start growing this channel and building this thing out. So if you haven't and you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe to the channel. We also do production videos. So we do topics and produce videos. There's over 100 videos on the YouTube channel. So if you got questions at any time, drop us a line and we'll try to go on there and get your questions answered as soon as possible. We really appreciate the support. Thank you very much.
And hey, since we put in a plug for Chris's business,
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could put in a plug for Lauren's business.
Okay, yeah. What's Lauren got?
Well, Bobby should know more about this than I do since
Mhm.
he's in her BNI group. But Lauren is a family counselor,
Right.
and she also has a course that it's you definitely get your money's worth for this course to learn. I don't
Parental, yeah.
That's-
It's deep, and and I don't want to ruin it for because I don't know it exactly. But Lauren, if you're listening still, I'm definitely purchasing the course. My kids are 19 and 16. They may be past that page of it, but I'm talking to people and new parents all the time. So even if you think you're beyond that level, that course could help someone else who's new to parenting.
Awesome.
They're expecting us to know when we say we have a kid that's 19 and 16, they see him doing well. But if majority of the time, we just don't know,
Right.
So,
Okay.
we could use the course too, just because people are trusting us to know.
Lauren, what's your website? I guess we don't have to be quiet while we wait.
I think she's laughing at how we explained it.
Oh, maybe
She's a strength-based parenting coach.
Parenting coach, yes.
Yes,
I
I
think-
didn't want to mess it up.
Oh, there it is.
Apparently, Bobby and Lauren need to do some more one-to-ones. Strengthenyourtribe.com.
Yeah.
Strengthenyourtribe.com.
Yes.
Well, we're going to take a look at that video when we log off and look at that website. And we appreciate you supporting us, Lauren. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, all right.
All right.
Good. Did we cover all the topics?
Yeah, we did. We
Yeah.
went through it a lot. I had fun. I mean, I like talking to you guys
Good
and hearing your
questions.
opinions. And you guys surprised me today because you made me think of stuff I hadn't thought about.
Yes.
So, next week we're going to go into some current events in the auto industry and some other stuff. But thanks for joining us, guys. We're out. Call us if you need us. We'd love to talk to you. Have a good day.